I think people just need to realize that like all the things that you think that you're worrying about actually will get better if you spend the time on the things that you think don't matter. And I would say one story I have is like my wife was, dude, she's gonna, thank God.
She's not gonna hear this.
No, she hates this. So she worked as a Starbucks manager when she was young, and she had a ton of employees. So this was, 20 years ago. And it was back then we were less empathetic, as a society, let's say, it's just rule based. Well, when I started scaling my insurance agency, I was spending a lot of time on the phone, like a sales agent that was crying about something, or like, you know what I mean? It was like a lot of conversations. She's like, you're like a therapist. What are you doing? Like, you shouldn't do that. You should just fire them if they're going to be like that. It's like, oh, but like, well, some of the stuff, maybe I took it a little far of the conversations of this is why
were you operating like a therapist completely outside your licensure a little bit?
A little bit, maybe a little bit. I mean, I had a lot.
Sometimes it's what it takes, like
that's the thing. And that was the realization, was that is what it takes. And sometimes that person does need a little help that's maybe outside of work a little bit. You got to draw your own personal boundaries, I guess. But dude, like the ones, those conversations were so important. What were you going to say, Greg?
Well, just like those situations where you make a difference and you help somebody in that same way, like
what it's all
when
about.
it comes to down the line, when the other person is trashing you and trying to do something wrong, they're like, right? They got your back.
100%.
You build an army of people that have your back, and you've got a lot more protection than just going by, you're late by 1 minute, get out of here.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
right.
I've got one tool I want to leave with your listeners. So let me know when's the best time to share that, because I want people to try just one little thing.
Love it. I would love to hear it.
Yeah, just do it. Let's go for it.
So I want them to pick their oldest customers.
Like oldest in age or oldest in tenure?
Oldest in age.
Okay.
And I want them to do a ride along and act as if the person got stopped by the police. Let's assume this is car insurance, auto insurance. And I want you to help them try to find their insurance card on their phone. And then after you experience that, what do you think you need to change about your process?
And that's empathy, right?
Yeah.
Putting yourself in their shoes.
That's correct. Because one of the reasons why I started what I call that's the empathy walk. You can redirect it to whatever you need it to be, whatever, customers you think struggle the most, but go and spend a day in their life so you can get a chance to see. Some of our clients are lawyers and judges. And so we went to this huge conference, mostly for judges. Well, use all your biases. How old do you think the people are? They're mostly judges.
50. 70.
Yeah, 67.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So we were, after
He's young, Jason. See?
To be a judge, right? So these are mostly judges. Wow. So we get to, after I give my keynote, and we've got our booth set up, and we didn't bring any paper. We just got a QR code on the thing. Some of them had flip phones. I know. And I have some strong beliefs about how in the world did you still have a flip phone in 2023?
Right. It's like a fax machine.
And I'm 1000% correct in my opinions. And if I'm going to have judges as clients, how effective am I?
Ineffective.
100%.
First of all, if you're a judge, you are thinking that you have arrived. Nobody's going to tell you what to do in terms of what phone's going to work or not. Number two, oftentimes they're in spaces where they can't have cameras, depending on what kind of courthouse they work in. Number three, do I want them to get the book or not? And if that flip phone is not scanning a QR code. And so I could easily have brought some books there that they could pay for right there. And I just didn't, because I was not thinking about what their needs were. I was thinking about mine.
I love that perspective of just flipping it. So how many times do we as the average human tend to go, I can't believe they blah, 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 blank, right?
Ego.
When it's it's the opposite. Why didn't I expect that? Because I didn't think about.
Because when I thought about it, I'm like, of course they don't have.
Right.
Relevant technology. We've seen this play out on television in a few real life situations. I can choose to be right, or I can choose to be effective.
Ooh.
Being right is insufficient for being effective.
That's Greg's favorite.
Not even
my favorite line.
It's not even
I say
necessary.
to my wife all the time. It's her favorite line that I say.
I love talking points.
Yeah. So I don't say it when I'm right, only when I'm wrong. Then I say being right is insufficient for being effective.
Yeah.
And then she goes, shut up, get out of here.
And it's like, I don't want to carry inventory. I don't want to go to a conference with all these books and then have to come back with them. But the thing is, now that I've designed for the neediest, I'm actually selling more books. The QR code people have what they need. The people who don't have that get what they need. It's a win-win.
Right.
Sales
just
101.
You sell them what they want and then give them what they need. And that's like, you got to give them that thing. Yeah.
It's funny. I was thinking about what you were saying with the empathetic part towards our clients. And I would say as a whole, insurance agents are like super empathetic of their clients, but not their staff.
Oh my gosh. So this is good to know. So schools are like that.
What do you mean?
Principals are very empathetic towards the children. The teachers and staff, not so much. And so this is good. This is good to know, because what that looks like is that leaders have to remember that how you treat your people is how they treat your people.
Yeah.
100%.
I will die on that hill. Like, if you think that you can berate people and then they're going to show up in beautiful ways for your clients, I got some beachfront property to sell you right here in Missouri.
Yeah.
Yeah, a really good buddy of mine from, actually I've known since kindergarten, but he worked with Tony Robbins for a long time, and he would always start the thing like when he did a talk, he'd say, "Who is your number one client?" And it's it's a trick question, because the number one client is your staff. That's your number one client, because if you don't treat them well, your clients aren't going to be treated well. And it is coming from that place of empathy, right? You have to understand them. You have to understand what drives them, what makes them tick. It's not money usually, and so
if you pay decent, it's not money.
Yeah, if it was money, then they would have a business, because they would see that that's the way to get to the level of just not, this fixed amount.